There we go.
Hi, I'm Leah from Leah Xl. I have a blog, a YouTube channel, but primarily I'm found on TikTok. It's been my #1 place that people have found me.
So today I'm joined with Leah, who's kindly accepted my invite on to Zoom. And this month's subject is, as you probably know, about online bullying and hate and how people deal with it. So how have you found TikTok?
So far, I've found TikTok probably the least difficult in terms of online hate, but there's a lot of children who have been, they're just silly rather than hateful.
Yeah.
So other than that, it's been the least problematic, but I'm sure that will change the bigger it gets.
How do you deal with that then, in general?
So I've got a couple of ways of dealing with online bullying. So firstly, blocking people. There's some great features. I always recommend blocking reporting. So the other thing is, dependent on what they say, I screenshot and I also screen record. So it depends if it's on a live, or I'll screenshot if it's part of the like a comment on one of my videos. It doesn't happen often, but if it does, I screenshot and then I just report. And more times than not, because I've given evidence, they do actually get taken down.
Mm. Because that's another thing that people have been finding at the moment, is people are being wrongly blocked and banned by TikTok. And have you found that with yourself?
Luckily not yet. I've had a 10-minute live ban because somebody reported me for going against community guidelines, and to be fair, they weren't wrong. I mentioned a giveaway, and you're not really supposed to mention them, so that was fair enough. 10-minute ban, didn't mind. But there have been people accused of things like inappropriate clothing, and they're just sat in their pajamas in a hoodie, something like
Yeah.
that, and then they've been banned permanently. So I think it's unfair, but I think the thing is, there's so many people on TikTok that they just can't monitor everything, so they're just going with what people say, and they hope
Yeah.
that people aren't going to use it inappropriately, but they are. So I think, a lot of people now are protecting themselves by screen recording, like I said earlier.
Mm. And do you find that you get less hate on TikTok than you do on YouTube, or do you find it the other way?
I don't get much hate on YouTube because not many people watch me. I think if I had more, so I think it's relative to the size that you are. So I've got
Yeah.
3,500 followers on YouTube, and I haven't posted a lot of videos lately because TikTok has taken over. So I actually think that it's relative to how big you get. I guess Facebook is probably the worst place
Yes.
sometimes, dependent on where you are. And that could be people which is even more terrifying. And Twitter's pretty pants for it as well. But YouTube, only because I'm small, but I think it would be relative. But I think it would be similar, and it would be similar people.
Do you find it easy to report the hate and bullying?
Yes.
Or do you think it could
Really
be
easy on
easier?
TikTok.
Do you think it could be easier on TikTok or on any platform?
I think YouTube could be better. It's not easy to do the reporting. Well, I don't know, because I haven't done it for so long. They may have changed it. So I'm thinking, months ago. For TikTok, I don't think there is an easier way to do it. You click on their name, and then it says manage, and you can either report it. I think that's the easiest way. What I do think, though, is that they shouldn't allow things that are similar. So if somebody's been reported, if it's sort of a 3 strikes and you're out. So if they come back because they've been taken down, maybe their IP address should get blocked or something like that. I don't know, because people just remake usernames.
Because I seen that a word got banned. You done a video about it, Chesterfield.
Yeah.
I didn't know about that.
So the word Chesterfield has been banned. Don't know
Why?
how. I don't know. So somebody said it might be a brand of cigarettes in South Africa. So they don't want to promote smoking. And I was like, but you can say cigarettes.
You can
So
say cigarette, and you can say Yeah, you can say different brands of cigarettes.
So I have since found out though that Chester, not Chesterfield, because obviously Chesterfield is the place, but Chester may also be banned. So let me just put, somebody told me in the, that Chester may have associations with paedophile rings.
Ah,
Potentially, but I don't know if that's true or not. I mean, I wouldn't know, but that could be the issue, and that's why Chester may be banned. I don't know
mm.
why. Let me put. Oh no, I'm not going to search that on my work computer. I'll search it on my phone. Could you imagine? Yeah, not safe for work, Chester.
But
Yeah, I
another
won't
thing
put
I've
that.
noticed is because I'm recently new to TikTok, I've started watching people go live. Like I've watched a
Yes,
few of your lives, and
yes,
when someone who's going live asks like their followers a question, sometimes it's really hard to get them to answer because they're answering, but all their answers to the questions are banned because
yes.
of their
That's
words.
happened. Yeah, that's happened before. So I did those, you know, you can do emoji. Everybody goes, can we play the emoji game?
Yeah,
And that's basically where you say an emoji and the first person to put the emoji. Well, there are some emojis that are banned. So you can't put, I can't remember which one it is now. I think it's the winking smiley face. I don't think you're allowed to put that in the chat anymore. So they've banned certain ones, but I don't know what they're associated with. It could be that they may be associated with different countries and maybe they're really there. So I don't know whether they're just being, you know, all encompassing or not.
a few people I've watched, what they've started doing to try and stop children watching their videos is like they do a public live at like 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Then at 10 o'clock, they go live again, but they make their account private. So only people that are following them that day can then view their live. And then when they come off
Oh,
live, they make their profile public again. But someone I followed just started saying, I want to know what words are banned. So I'm going to list out a few words and I want you to write them down in the comments. And if they don't come through, that means they're banned. And then she took a picture of that and then put it on her Facebook, I think it was, and said to her friends, don't comment these words because I can't see them.
that's crazy. So you can also ban them yourself. So there's a list of words that you can ban. So anything that's derogatory, you can.
Can you
So
do
even if
that?
people misspell them, if you wanted to, you can ban them and block words. So it doesn't come up in your comments, it doesn't come up on your lives, and you can't see them. So rather than mute somebody, then you can do it that way. So sometimes it's people doing it themselves. So it's like some
Mm,
people mute followers. You're not
yeah,
allowed to say followers
no, I've learned that one.
because I think people are trying to. I think people are annoyed with the follow culture.
Yeah,
I get that. It is frustrating.
like I know what my account's public on TikTok, but sometimes because I'm not like big, sometimes when someone follows me, I view their profile and I'm like, why are you actually following me?
It's so strange, isn't it? I mean, mine's obviously grown and it grew considerably and very quickly, which I just didn't expect, but it has, like I thought it would, it's leveled out a bit, which is nice because I feel like my followers are actually following because they want to. I don't know how it got to that point. I really don't. But I'm really lucky that it's sort of grown quite quickly and now I've got a nice group of people in the community. Something I try and promote through social media is that your tribe, like the finding people that are the same or have the same interests and you've got respect for each other, and it doesn't matter about the age group, because I don't try and limit the age group. I think it's unfair to try and, you know, there might be a 15-year-old that just needs a little bit of guidance and
Yeah.
wants to feel part of a tribe. So I'm just like, do you know what, that's fine. I do an 18 plus Zoom call though, so I try to be as family friendly on TikTok as possible. My account is
Yeah.
quite family friendly, and so are my lives. But I do an 18 plus Zoom call that I now hold for, you know, there's prizes and there's quizzes and there's fancy dress, because the tribe is growing and we're all becoming much more of a close-knit community. So
Mm.
that's worked as well. So I try and keep it very PC, and then not PC, like PG rather than PC. All of it's PC, and then I take them over to Zoom if we want to have like adult conversations.
But I notice you've also got a backup account now.
I've done that because I don't need it, but I just thought I'll get it so that it grows organically rather than forcing people over. So I
Yeah.
thought, I'm just going to do it really slowly. I rate cups of tea. That's all I do. The videos are rating cups of tea. I probably do one video a day, not even that. And it's quite easy to find cups of tea on the internet, which is weird. But I rate cups of tea on TikTok on that specifically. And it's almost at 200. And I've not really promoted it. I'd said about it once. A few people have come over. And it also, to me, shows how many people are actually watching my videos in a
Yeah.
way. And who is actually engaged. So out of 61,000 I think I've got at the moment, actually less than 1% are probably engaged. It's very
Mm.
strange, TikTok, in that way. I think followers mean nothing, views is everything.
Yeah. And I've noticed a lot of people like videos more than they comment, whereas myself, I prefer people to comment rather than like, because it
Yeah,
actually shows that they've watched it.
agreed. And they're only 15 seconds, most is a minute. Like,
Yeah.
to keep someone to get, I try not to go over a minute, but I do believe that people's perception of how much time they have because of TikTok has. So, for example, I used to do half an hour videos on YouTube. I wouldn't dare do that now. I do less than 10 minutes, and I think that's too long because people's attention spans have shrunk so much because of TikTok.
But I've noticed people won't watch like a decent video that's like half an hour long, but they go and watch a cat falling in a swimming pool on repeat for half an hour, even though that clip's only a minute long.
Oh, and I mean, I get that. Because a cat falling in the swimming pool is hilarious. But it's one of those things because it's that, because we're all doing two things at once, we're all so busy. A cat
Mm.
falling into a pool gives you like what, a minute of satisfaction. You're laughing for a little bit. It relieves you from everyday pressures and lives. But a half an hour video actually takes concentration. So you'd not be able to do two things at once. You'd have to watch, you'd have to
Mm.
take it in. So that's what I always feel. Like, we don't watch telly anymore because of TikTok in
No,
our household.
I've stopped watching TV.
It's mad, isn't it? I do sometimes, like, we've got programs that we watch religiously, like we do watch Coronation Street. My wife watches Coronation Street. I watch it by proxy because I'm always like, oh, who's that? What's happening? So I am interested. I just pretend I don't watch it. We watch Grey's Anatomy every week, and we watch like a couple of other shows, but that's it. And so we watch
Mm.
those on a Saturday morning, but then we don't do anything else. We record TikToks, we watch TikToks. Our life has very much become centered around TikTok, which is very strange.
But another thing I've noticed is that I didn't realize how long I was spending on TikTok until I had to go back through and look for a video I liked that was only an hour before. But the amount of videos that I would watch in that time is ridiculous.
Yeah, 15 seconds isn't very long. You don't realize how many things you're consuming in that hour. It always so now what I've done, if I really like a video, I'll favorite it. If I want to respond to a video,
That's
I'll
what
favorite
I've
it.
done.
If I will like a video as well, and sometimes I'll want to go back to it, but I don't like as much as I used to. I comment more because if I like, sometimes I go back over it like yourself. But there's a thing, isn't there, on TikTok that allows you. Let me just read it to you. Actually, they've got this special thing on TikTok. I'm just searching for somebody who was on my live at the moment. They're private, but I'm just trying to get some info on them because they were a bit rude. Let's have a look. Where is it? Digital well-being. So you can actually set your screen time. So you can do that. So time limit 60 minutes. And when it's reached, a passcode is required. So it's
Mm.
like a way to do it, especially for kids, and restricted mode. So you can do that for, again, it's a passcode that's needed. So if you're a parent, you can do it for kids, but you could do it for yourself as well, because you know your time is up if you've got to do that. So
You
it's a
could
really
ask your
clever
partner
way.
to do it.
Yeah, get your partner to do it. Absolutely. Can you just restrict my screen time? That's so bad though, isn't it? That we'd have to put that on ourselves. But it's good that they've done it because they've obviously noticed people's screen times are just crazy with it.
Yeah. But
But
they were on about banning TikTok.
the thing they don't do, which I wish they did, was auto scroll. Because then you could just
Yeah.
leave it running, couldn't you?
But another thing I've noticed is back along, I would literally just scroll past a video, wouldn't watch the video, but I would still like it.
Oh, yeah.
When I first started joining TikTok, that's all I done. And I felt really bad. It's like I didn't realize how many people I were following until I was like, hang on a minute. I'm not actually, I've watched one of your videos and I've clicked followed. I haven't actually gone onto your account.
It's funny, isn't it? But then I've done that a few times because I've thought I really, no, actually, I did it at the beginning, but when I think about it now, if somebody comes up over and over again, and every time I think, do you know what, I really like your content. Like, so for example, Tabitha Brown. Do you know Tabitha Brown?
No,
No,
I don't think
she's
so.
she's a Southern American woman, and she cooks, and she's got the most delicious Southern American accent you could. It's so soothing. She's absolutely adorable. So she does a lot of vegan food. I'm not into vegan food, but I'd eat anything she cooked because it just looks delicious, and the way she talks about it is lovely. But her videos kept coming up, and I thought, why am I not following you? You're delightful. Of course I like you. Of course I'm going to give you my follow. I think you're wonderful. And I think that is what I've started to do. I've seen quite a few of her videos. I enjoy them, and then I follow. There's another one. What's his name? Mr. Hamilton. Do you know who he is?
Sounds familiar.
So he's an American, and he's quite fun. He's got quite a unique look, and he's just again somebody who's come up so many times, but I've not pressed follow. But it took a lot for me to follow them. Like
Yeah,
it takes a lot more now for me to follow somebody, and I think a lot of people are doing that now. I think people are being more choosy with who they follow.
like what annoys me now is I follow quite a few people, but
Yeah.
sometimes I'm like, oh, I haven't seen that person pop up in a while. I'll go check their channel. I'll go onto my follow list, and because there's no search bar, I'm like, I type in part of their username, it doesn't come up, and I'm like, I can't actually find you now.
Yeah, no, I hate that. That happens. Yeah, that really annoys me.
Because on YouTube and Instagram, you can actually search who follows you, but
Yeah.
on TikTok, you can't.
Yeah, that annoys me as well.
It's quicker to go through your notifications than it is to actually go through who follows you.
I know. My notifications get to a point though where they stop. So that always becomes an issue. So I'm like, oh, I need to get back to something. So sometimes I've got to favorite my own video to know a comment that I had to go back to. It's really frustrating. Or even screenshot it, because they do limit the amount of things you see. So, you know, like people who are bigger than I am, it must be really hard to keep up. I don't know how they do it.
Mm. Like, I was shocked when you noticed, because I saw your live going mental. I was actually shocked when you read out my comment.
That's because it caught my eye.
But I
I
find
was like,
I
I'm
have a
not
lot of
saying
respect for
that.
people who actually communicate with their followers, because
Yeah.
some people you see don't.
No, I find it really bizarre that people would go on a live and then not talk to anybody or
Yeah,
interact with the
or just talk
conversation.
to the people
However,
they've made moderators.
yeah, I mean, to be fair, I have maybe a maximum of 60 people in my live, and not everybody talks. So that's manageable. But if I had 150 to 200, I think I'd really struggle with the comments. So I can see the two sides of the coin. But I'd like to think I would try and keep up with them. The problem is
Mm,
when you don't see them because they're not live for you. So although it's live when you're watching it, you guys, you'll hear me say something, but it'll be quite a bit after I've said it. And it takes a
yeah,
while for the comments to come through. But people don't realise that there's time in between that. So when they come on and they're saying the same thing over and over again because I've not responded, it just clogs it all up, and that's what
my
becomes an
rule
issue.
is that I wait about 2 minutes,
Yeah.
and then what
Before
I
somebody says
do
something.
is when you read a comment that's above mine, and then if that one, and then someone comments a long comment, so mine disappears off my screen, but you
Yeah.
read the one underneath mine, then I'll probably comment it again
Same.
because I know you've gone past it either by
Same.
accident or it hasn't come up. I
Yeah,
won't just
I would say
keep
so.
typing it again and again.
I think there's a weird thing at the moment in the lives. So it's always been unproblematic. I've had so many positive experiences in my live videos, but there are the kids are off right now. And because
Yeah,
they're off now, you're getting more stupidity, more silliness, and to the point where I mean, there's a guy that I follow and I'm quite good friends with, Behave Yourself, Darling. Do you know him?
he sounds familiar as
Yeah,
well.
Jason. He's just hit 100K recently. He's fantastic. And he is perfect for this because he actually replies to troll comments. So people were saying things like, you should get cancer and die. I hope you get run over by a bus, like really mean things. So he started to try and turn it into a positive and said, look, you can't hurt me. I'm going to, I'm going to respond to you. And he has been respectful and he just makes it a joke. And people love him for that because he's saying the things that people want to. But they're just vicious. Like his brother has Down syndrome and he's come onto the lives a few times. Julian, he's beautiful. And people are really horrible and they're kids
Yeah,
that are saying those things. And I think if your parents knew, or if your school knew, or if your future employer knew what you were saying here, you wouldn't be saying it. You just wouldn't.
that's
It's
what
not.
I've learned doing my podcast at the moment, is because I used to use my Twitter to reach out to people. Like I
Yeah.
used to use my own personal Instagram to reach out to people. Like go back beginning of this year, I probably would have messaged you on my personal account. But it wasn't until a YouTuber I watched messaged me. It kind of hurt my feelings, but it wasn't until he messaged me on my personal account and said, look, I'm sorry. If you had a professional account, then I probably would have said yes. And that message then made me understand that probably I shouldn't be messaging him off my personal account because I have no security for myself then, and
Yeah,
they don't
exactly.
actually know who I am. And it wasn't until I got a message like that I realized that probably I shouldn't be using my personal one to reach out to people, because if I put something up that you don't agree with, you see what I mean? And it wasn't
Absolutely,
until
I
he
agree with
sent
you
me that
that
message.
as a professional, because during the week I am a professional. I work in an office. I work for a large company, and my job is very corporate. My life outside of work is not it's nothing related to work, and anything online is all under Leah Xl because that's my brand, and that's the
Yeah,
reason I chose that brand. So that has stayed the whole time. I will use it on everything, Leah Xl, apart from Twitter, which is my old surname, but I can't change it. But that to me is what branding yourself gives you the opportunity to have those conversations, but also it means it dissociates you from your professional job and your personal life.
absolutely. Because I was messaging hundreds of people asking about doing the interview, and that person really helped, because to begin with, I was just like, you're being rude, you're ignoring me. But then I started getting into their mind frame, going, a stranger has messaged me. How do I know they're not going to sell my story? How do I know they're not going to do this to me?
Mm.
But since I done this podcast Instagram, I've had a lot of positive feedback.
That's great. Are you enjoying it?
I'm definitely enjoying it, because I started doing this because I wanted people to understand that no matter what part of life you come from, you are still exposed to hate and treated the same. And that's what the message I was trying to get out to people.
So you've been so is that from a personal experience?
Yeah,
Right. So, because I think it's really difficult because I've always been very lucky, and I know I'm lucky feeling this way. I was I was relentlessly teased at school, relentlessly, but it never got to the point of bullying to the point where it was detrimental to me. So I can't ever speak on that experience. I probably was bullied more than I realized, or teased more than I was realized, but I was in my own world. My mum used to say I was in Leah land, and Leah land was very rosy. There was rainbow sparkles and everything wonderful. Like, it was amazing. I never knew that people thought different to how I thought of myself. And it wasn't that I was cocky, or I wasn't. I was just very confident in myself. I was very lucky, and from a child, like a very small child, I was confident in myself. And because of that, I've never been affected by things like bullying or teasing.
I've gotten to that stage as well now.
And it's a great place to be.
Mm.
But I know it's not the same for everyone. And I think that the thing that upsets me the most is injustice. And I think it's really unfair when people resort to teasing and bullying to try and get their message across because they feel bad. And actually, I feel sorrier for them who are trying to be cruel to people, to try and make them feel insecure, to bring them to their level. Because if they're hurting that much, that they're trying to do this to someone else, that must be a lot of pain they're in. Now, I'm not sympathizing with bullies. I'm just saying that there has to be a level of empathy, because they're clearly hurting to do that to someone else. It's not fun.
Absolutely.
It's not. So
It's taken me a while to get to this stage where I'll read like a hate comment, or someone will just decide to have a go at me randomly. It's taken a lot of that to get me to where I am now. Because sometimes when I read it, I think of how I used to react, but now I just read it and I think, why have you commented that? What
yeah.
has made you put that? It has nothing to do with me. There is obviously something you want to say, and it's taken a lot to get me to where I am now.
I'm pleased that you've got there, though. Like, I think that's the useful thing, and hopefully this will help. So, we've talked about TikTok, we've talked about social media, and it can be relentless because people are behind a screen. I think the conversation needs to keep going. I think people need to be aware of their actions, but I also think that people need to start thinking about the why. Why are people doing it? Why do people feel like this is their outlet for anger, for upset, for hurt, to do it to somebody else? It will always be that way. I mean, look politically, and I hate to talk about politics, but it absolutely is. If you look at Hitler and the way he treated the Jews, it was because of the way he felt about himself. The reason it all went that
Absolutely.
way. So that hatred is stirred up by insecurity.
I just had a notification pop up. We have 10 minutes left, apparently.
Okay, that's okay.
But I see what you're saying. It's about how you're brought up and how you're treated, because it definitely affects your like future and path. If that's all you've been brought up with is hate and anger, that's all you're gonna know.
Yeah. It's sad, really, isn't it, that people just don't have that positive experience. I always say I was very, very lucky because I grew up in a household where my mum was very much a hippie, in the sense that she was about, she didn't like things like, she wouldn't allow guns, for toy guns, right, in the house. She was very much a pacifist, free love whoever you want to, which meant that me and my brother equally didn't never have to come out. He's not gay, but he also said to me, if he met a man that he fell in love with, it wouldn't bother him. But that's because we both were brought up in that way. So it was a very an interesting household, because we were also mixed cultures as well. So my dad's Egyptian and my mum's Jewish. So we had that whole mixture. Everything was thrown in, and because of that, it made us a bit more liberal, a bit more, it was easy for us to understand people's natures because we'd seen all different types. But I know that's not the same for everyone. I was always the kid because I had that upbringing. And actually quite a lot of British people don't have that upbringing.
No.
That loving, huggy, kisses all the time, all of that. So saying I love you, that doesn't happen in a lot of households. And that can affect a lot of people in different ways.
Is there anything else you would like to add?
No, I just want to say thank you, really. Thank you for having me.
That's all right. Thank you for
and I hope you
joining.
continue to do really well.
Thank you. I can keep in touch. I'll send you the link once this is up if you like.
I'd love to. Thank you.
I'll also put your links in the description like I do with everyone.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, my darling.
Thank you.
Take care, sweetheart.
And you.
Bye.
Bye.